It sounds pretty mean. All right, so we're sliding on. Ugh. Ooh, see, it's just gonna slide around a little, but I'm just wanted it to get oriented to see how the muffler was looking. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Full Blast Garage. And on this one, we got a pretty cool one. So you guys, if you've been following along, the 69 GTO barn find, we got it running, driving. It goes around the ranch. Got kind of the brakes sorted out off camera, but now we're just running open headers and it sounds like not good. It doesn't sound good. And reached out to the folks at Pypes, told them that I essentially wanted the wildest sounding exhaust that could come off the shelf. You know, this thing's not gonna be like a highway cruiser. This thing's gonna be like, you know, let's go into town and make some noise. You know, let's get some eyeballs on the car. So what Pypes sent me is their 3-inch, you know, they call it an H-pipe, X-pipe kit for the A bodies, and we got the Violators. So we got Street Pros on the Chevelle, Violators going on the GTO, gonna be a completely different sound. So why don't y'all stick around, see us install this kit, put this GTO on full blast. Just go out, do something that makes you happy, but make sure you're doing it on full blast. Oh, she's a digger. All right, let's see what it'll do. Oh, might want to plug the battery on. That's a good idea. You never know on these old cars. I don't like to leave them with the batteries plugged in all the time inside my shop. Oh, didn't like that. Might let it high idle for a couple more seconds. All right, this is our exhaust note. I mean, it's open header, folks. We can do better. We can do a whole lot better. So if you've never seen one of these H-pipe systems, this is kind of your A-body layout right here. You got your inlets on the inside closest to the drive shaft, outlet, you know, will be closest to the frame rail. And guys, if you're taking the time to do your own exhaust, you want to do something like what Pypes has here with this H-pipe system. So if you guys have divorced banks where one doesn't cross over into the other, man, the sound is just not as good as what you get with one of these. So definitely, if you're making your own system or if you're doing a kit, do some sort of crossover. I promise you, you'll thank me in the end. The sound will be a whole lot better. And if you're buying a kit like this, definitely look at Pypes. They have really good crossover systems for a lot of like classic cars. So this is your layout. Okay, first thing I want to do is show you guys the hanger situation. So you'll have these kind of funky looking hangers for these A bodies. One strap's gonna bolt from the inside in the top hole. The other strap is gonna bolt on the front of this cross member, middle hole. And essentially what it ends up looking like is this when it's bolted to the back of your muffler. So your clamps will come through here, your U-bolts, you suck it down, and that's what is your exhaust clamp. Same thing on this side. So you wrap it around and go straight up, boom, there's your exhaust hanger. And this is very similar to the factory. This is almost exactly what they did there. And then on the side here, let's see if I got good access. So you will have two vertical holes kind of right on top of each other. And you'll have access through the center to bolt that bolt down. And this guy is your rear hanger. So you're gonna loop around this and go down to your exhaust pipe. So rear hanger, and the other side is the exact same way. You can kind of see this is your frame rail here. Show you guys driver. Driver side, same story. Bolt in, two vertical bolt holes right on top of one another. There's a little kind of guide that goes in the bottom hole, bolt goes in the top. And there's your hanger. Super easy. Very easy setup. They kept it very close to what the factory does. So I'm gonna start loading in the pipes. We start at the back on any exhaust system. That's, unless you're kind of fabbing it as you go, that's the way you do a kit. Start at the back, work your way forward. You do a final cut at the end to get everything lined up exactly where you need it. So let me grab those. We'll get under this thing, start loading some pipe in. Well, hello, neighbor. I don't know if any of y'all ever watched that TV show, but your best bet, I was gonna pull this guy out. I was just kind of checking. Your best bet for installing tailpipe. Get your car up. You want a little bit of space between the body and the axle and everything else that's under here. You want to twist your tailpipe sideways here. And you're just gonna feed it right over the axle. If you've already put the hanger in, which I did, you're gonna have to just slide it out of the way. And then boom, your hoop is gonna hold it. And you can just kind of feed your axle over to the side that it's gonna sit on. It's really funny that an entire TV show, you know, the whole premise of it, it was the guy talking through the fence to his neighbor. Not the whole premise, but one of the main side stories. Oh, but I digress. My 90s childhood. So, I'm gonna grab passenger side, get it in, and if you can't tell, the coil springs have shifted forward. Common on GTOs, Chevelles, when you lift it up this high, these guys wanna fall out. So what I'm gonna do is as I drop it down, I'm just gonna have to kind of work it, guide the coil springs back into their pockets. These guys are really probably worn out. That's mainly what happens, but eventually I'll get some kind of cargo springs like what I have in the Chevelle. They don't necessarily lift it, but they keep it from sagging. That's really like when you load down the trunk of these, like if we're going on a tour, don't want it to just bottom out because I hate air shocks. And if I can avoid it getting them, I'll put any kind of coil spring in this. I'll put lift springs if I had to. All right, I'm gonna go grab the other tailpipe, load it in just the same, and I'll show you guys how to loosely put on this clamp. It's not gonna do much right now. All right, over here. Oh, driver's side. So we're just gonna go ahead and slide the clamp on We can slide our U-bolt up and just hand tighten this guy. I just kind of keep the threads kind of about similar on each side. Just, I don't know, that's maybe an OCD thing, but this will just kind of help it stay in place for now. Don't be surprised if this thing slides out a couple times as you're jostling the pipe around. Not a big deal. Just grab it, you know, hang it back in here if you need it. If you don't, just leave it. Because all you're doing right now is really kind of setting your gaps between your frame, your axle, those type of things. So it's not entirely important once you get this thing plugged into the mufflers that it stays, you know, up here perfectly. Because as you move forward, it's gonna kind of hang where it wants to hang. But I'm gonna go ahead, get both these guys the hangers on, then we'll move further towards the front, get the mufflers installed. All right, so now hanging your outlet. And if you didn't know, Pypes does put the muffler name right there on the case. So what you're gonna wanna do is have your clamp ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and run the nuts off this guy. Clamp ready to go. I think we can actually slide this thing on here. And then all right, so now we're sliding on our exhaust, and you wanna make sure you do have the outlet side. It's labeled inlet. The inlet's labeled. So you can go ahead and slide it on, just kind of have it dangle here. Place our clamp on, and then gonna need to kind of orient our exhaust clamp. All right, bolt in, bolt in. All right, get your nuts started on here. And then we can keep on moving forward with it. You want everything just loosely hand tight, just loose. No time to be torquing anything down yet. Finger tight will get this job done perfectly for right now. And I'm just kind of loosely orienting the muffler where I think it should be. And that's it right now. That's all we're doing. And the tailpipe did slide off. Super common. You're just gonna have to kind of mess with it to a point where you're kind of good with where things are, then you can tighten that clamp down. Ooh, see, it's just gonna slide around a little, but I'm just wanted it to get oriented to see how the muffler was looking. So now I got it pointed straight and we're good there. So I'm gonna go ahead, throw the driver's side one on, and then we'll keep moving forward. All right, folks, moving forward. Just keep in mind, everything's still super loose under here, so. Oh. Huh. Might have to do some lowering on our exhaust hanger here. All right, let me eyeball this. All right, so holding my H-pipe up here, I measured back. They want you about anywhere from 8 to 12 inches back from the snout of the transmission, kind of centered here. I'm like closer, I don't know, not quite 9, but I want to go back. So I'm going to go the full 12. I'm going to cut 3 inches out of each of these pipes that go into the mufflers, and then we'll come back and refit everything. Again, some of this stuff, it's going to have to move because we got stuff kind of jammed up against the floor here. This side seems super happy. I mean, this could be due to the impact this car had in the rear, possibly. You never know, but I think once everything's tied together, that'll get us off the floor. We definitely have room, but yeah, we're gonna have to kind of jockey with this a little bit to get everything straight. Let me make those cuts, and then we'll come back and take a look at everything. 3 inches, folks, that's it. Well, I'm kind of down to the last little bit here. As everything kind of got cut, shortened, I pulled the H-pipe back another couple inches. So we're a little bit past 12, I would say. Don't have the tape measure over here, but from the snout of the transmission to the center, we're probably closer to 14. But I had those 3-inch expandable, like the flexi things on there just in case I needed them on this, because I don't know if you saw these Summit Racing headers in the last video, but they were pointing directly up into this transmission cross member. I had to cut them, put the pipe wrench on, twist. So it's been cut and twisted and clocked further over towards the transmission and pointing straight. Then I had to re-weld it, and I've patched it with some stuff, some carbon fiber stuff that we make that's high, like super high heat. And this front piece, I got slid on this collector extension into the H-pipe. Now I have this other front piece that's on this side. She's still loose, so it's slid all the way in the H-pipe. And now I'm gonna kind of have to manipulate this guy over and possibly shorten my collector extension just a hair. It might need just a tiny piece, which I think I'm gonna do. So as I'm trying to bend it over in place, it's just catching. And I think I've kind of gotten all the slack out of the system that I can. Yeah, as I move, it's just catching. So I'm gonna take just a sliver off the end of this collector extension, and then we'll start fitting it up. All right, so we're all fit up and she's snug. Not gonna lie, it took some wrestling to get the pipe, because it's better practice to kind of slide the pipe in as far as you can and then work it onto the collector. And you're just gonna have to muscle it. They make these things super tight, super specific for a reason. And sometimes it's so tight, it kind of makes it almost impossible to complete, but you need it like this. And this will keep you from having a ton of exhaust leaks. And we got the H-pipe tucked up pretty tight. We got a little bit of a funny angle going here, but again, it's from the header, it's not from the pipe. It's kind of coming and having to turn up a hair. The other side's right, like it goes straight into the H-pipe the way it should. This one, we're just gonna have to clamp it and look at it. We're dealing with stuff, you know, this header that's not great. It's not right. And maybe one day I upgrade and that kind of fixes some of these things. And if you ever have to, you know, change any of these, there's part numbers on all these different pieces of pipe. So just call Pypes this part number, say I cut this one down too short. You know, I put new headers on it, and now it's too short. And you can get just this piece. You don't have to buy an entire system or do anything like that. They have it, it's all sectioned off. You know, every little piece has its own part number, so you can replace it. Great practice, excellent practice. And again, if you don't like the Violators, you can throw the Street Pros on there. I think there's a Race Pro too. Street Pros on the Chevelle, that big block 454, man. People in the gas stations, when that thing starts up and it's like idling at 600 RPM, everybody double taking a look at it. So I'm gonna go ahead, clamp everything. I have to supply one clamp because I have an extra connection up here that they don't normally have you do. So everything else is the clamps in the kit, just old horseshoe clamp, tighten it down pretty much as tight as you can, and then drive it 100 miles and tighten it again, and then probably drive it another 100 miles and tighten it again. So it's about a 3-step process to getting it perfect on those type of clamps. So I'm gonna go ahead, tighten all the clamps, put them on, tighten them all, and then we're starting this thing. I got a feeling, I was wobbling around on the driver's side, the headers already needed to be retorqued. And I've probably driven this car 30 minutes total run time probably. Just going around the ranch and getting the timing right. But we'll go ahead, get everything tightened down, get this thing started up, and hear the Violator. All right, last shot, back to front. And we are kicked over just a hair driver, and that is because the header outlet up there is way over. So I tried to compensate as much as I could and get it centered, because you really want the pipe centered. And I'm, you know, if this is your center line of your drive shaft, I don't know, I'm a ½ inch off. And when you look at how far off this header is to the center of the cross member, I think I did pretty good, because it's about 1.5 inches from center. So from the center of the header outlet to where it's supposed to be, I made up that much, you know, getting the kit centered a little bit better than it would have been if I just, you know, bolted it on straight and just kind of prayed. But we've got everything clamped and we've clearanced everything. You want to check, make sure, you know, especially around here, around your coil springs, that you're not hitting anything, you know, that your pipes are close. Again, that'll be fitment later because I don't have a rear bumper. But again, you want to be able to kind of feel around the pipes that they're not touching anything, and we seem to be clearing. So let's drop this thing down and see what it sounds like. There's a good chance I got a header leak from how loose that driver or the passenger side was, but we'll see. Maybe it'll just overpower it with the Violator. All right, let's reach in and start this thing. See what kind of sounds it's making now. We can hear a header leak, that's for sure, on the passenger side. We'll see what we're hearing out the back here. Wow. Way different sound. I'm gonna tighten up that header and then let's take it out for some road action. Definitely, I could feel the header loose, literally moving around. So doesn't shock me that I am hearing some ticking actually now. So get that tightened up. Yeah, let's take this thing out. Let's get on the road. Well, the dirt road. Maybe on the road, I don't know. I haven't torqued these lug nuts. Probably just on the dirt road to be safe. All right, header bolts tightened up. If you've ever tightened up header bolts on a Pontiac, you feel my pain. Why'd they have to angle the exhaust ports down at the cross member? Why? Well, we got a much more manageable sound. Oh, these tires rub a little bit. They did on that other GTO too. I think we need some power steering fluid. Man, it sounds good. Woo, gonna get sideways. Oh, and into the rocks. Don't know if y'all could hear that. Whew. And the brakes are still like a suggestion, but they're there. They will stop you if you absolutely have to get yourself stopped. The headers from Summit hang low on this car, not the greatest, and this car sits kind of high to begin with. Woo, getting a little squirrely. All right, let's walk around this thing while it's idling. Got a little heat into it. And she's kind of bone stock 455. It will get a cam in the future. But it sounds a whole lot better than that turdy, raspy open header sound. See if I can throw the mic on the rear deck, give it some revs. It sounds pretty mean. I like it. I like it a lot. I was saying it sounds pretty mean, and I like it. Good sounding car. Well, I think we're gonna call it there for this episode of Full Blast Garage. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We got the GTO one step closer to being back on the road. Need a hood, need to put the bumper, tail lights, all that stuff back on. We're gonna do some little hobo body work where we weld some stuff on the back and just pull, see if I can get it straight. Nothing crazy, but I'm gonna try and at least make it better than it is. Special thanks to Pypes. Man, the kit that I put on the Chevelle. I was so impressed by it, reached out to them, told them I'm building this GTO, and they said, we got you covered. So the Pypes team and this kit, man, A+. Like if you're in the market for a header back or cat back, any kind of X-pipe type exhaust, I mean, this is as good as it gets. Like I've put on lots of other companies' exhausts and I just like the way Pypes sounds. The Street Pro on the Chevelle, I'd say just because that motor's built up, sounds a little more aggressive. This thing is pretty crazy. Like this is a just about bone stock 455. And when you throttle down, it like opens up the chambers. It like trumpets it. So, I mean, that's what I wanted. I wanted it to, like, when you got on it, people knew that you were pressing the gas. And this thing sounds awesome. So definitely a big thanks to Pypes for making that kit and also working with us here on this project. So hope you guys, maybe you learned something. Maybe you took away that, you know, you want one of those kits or whatever. I don't know. You're a Pontiac guy and you like watching me wrench on old junky GTOs, but I appreciate all of you, you know, everyone that's coming to the channel and watching. We're growing, and probably by the time this comes out, we'll be back from Poverty Tour. So keep your eyes peeled for updates on that. We'll probably do shorts as we go, and we'll have one big long video to edit once we're back. So we're going with everyone through almost Utah, and then we have to cut off for a birthday party, and then we're coming back. So we're over 3,000 miles, probably closer to 3,500 once you take into account us driving from Navasota to Joplin. So it's gonna be a fun ride. Can't wait to take all of you along, and then you guys get to see, you know, Pole Barn Garage, Junkyard Digs, Build Season, Buff. Like all these people will be there. Like we did it all with them last year. Great people. So that's kind of the coolest part of the tour is the people on the tour. So, and again, if you're interested, I'm sure there'll be one next year. So look into it and just sign up. It's free. I don't think Dalton will ever charge for it. So if you're interested, get you a piece of junk and get on the tour with us. But again, take a moment to like, comment, subscribe. Any interactions with the channel are greatly appreciated. And until you see me again, just go out, do something that makes you happy. Make sure you're doing it on full blast. I'll see y'all later. But hold on, let's start it one more time. Y'all got to hear the Violator. Oh, it sounds pretty good, y'all.